And good evening. As we get started here, uh, you're with Dr. Thomas and Deanna. So bear with us for a few seconds as we share it out to people so people know that we are live now. But as you come in, please feel free to just say hi in the chat. Say who, put your name out there if you like. And as we go through along, any comments or questions you have, feel free to just pop them in there. But as I mentioned, this is Dr. Thomas, and I'm here with Deanna. We want to say hi.
Hello, everybody. I'm Deanna. You've probably met me before. Nice to be back, and I think it's an important thing that we're talking about tonight. So I'm glad we're able to create this circle to discuss.
Yeah. Andrea, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. Um, for those that don't know, my name is I'm Dr. Thomas. I'm a YouTube channel, so thank you for finding it. Feel free to follow along if you like. Um, Chris, welcome as well. It's we're spiritual teachers and leaders. Really, all of us are, but we all have different journeys, different roles, different purposes, whatever you want to call it. Different agendas is the right word to say. Um, and the end of the day, we're all here with one purpose. And that real purpose is, believe it or not, simple. It's to create this unbiased love and just help us go to the next steps in our journey, not only our journey, but the Earth's journey. And I can go through a whole long, detailed of history of how we got to where we are today. But as we talk tonight was really brought about by a question that was asked of me. Um, you know, where do I stand with everything that's happening right now in the world? If I give it any time, any thought, all that stuff that's happening outside, and in particular to the what we'll say evil that's going on. And I thought, well, this is a great topic to talk about. And so I said, hey, Deanna, let's do this. And as always, was randomly pick a time, and I randomly pick a time, and we go on here to just to chat. But I think this is important to say because we're 4 days into the new year, and things are already going not crazy, but they're taking off in directions we might not have experienced. I don't know about you, but I've heard a couple different predictions for 2026 by different people.
Yeah.
And there's one similarity that I've heard. And so I'm going to share this. Let me take a step back before I share. As I said, we all have a purpose. It's one purpose for all humanity, and that is to create unbiased love. The energy has shifted. The world has shifted. The earth has shifted. We are not in the same place we were 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years, 60 years ago. This is a different energetic planet in space that we are in and we are holding. A lot has happened. And we are in the actual transition period for a few more years, minimum, of this transition from the old energy to the new energy. A lot of what my teachings and my agenda is to help people get from the old into the new. And really, it starts with, for me, those people that are already in the spiritual journey, helping them really take off in their journey to this amazing place where they're going to go. And so, for me, and personally for me, I see what's going on out there, but I know what's going to happen. How it's going to happen, I have no clue. But what I need to do is I need to make sure I focus on what I need to focus on, because it's what we all need to focus on. And that is holding our own light and ourselves moving through this transition to become who we are to become. Many people I've met with, many people I've talked to always say to me, my purpose, my goal is to make humanity much better and help as many people as want to become light and become love and blah, 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 blah. No. You can't help someone until you helped yourself. You can't change someone into being what they're not going to be until you've modeled it yourself and they choose the path they want. And so the first step always is yourself. And when you model and live by yourself, as you should be, others will want that. And I'm going to give a great example of this from Cryon. Lee Carroll channels Cryon, and he often tells of the story of the tar pit. So imagine there's a community, and everyone's in this tar pit. And every day you got to sludge to work. Oh, I'm stepping and I'm going sludging through the tar. And you go to work or anywhere you want to go, you're going through tar. And you get home and all your clothes are covered in tar, and it's a drudge. I mean, you're lifting up and back and down, and it's a mess. But that's where you live. That's what you have to deal with. And one day, one of the members of the community said to its guides, and Jason said, I want to be free of the tar. I want to be free of the restrictions. And next thing you know, as he started walking, the tar wasn't sticking to him. He was just walking freely. And all of a sudden, the members of the community started seeing this. Now some were like, oh, what's going on? The devil, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But some were like, ooh, how do I get there? And so then they took on the question, and they began asking, and they themselves took on the transformation. And next thing you know, they were no longer sticking to the tar. And they were moving freely, so it wasn't going on to them. But we started with one person being that model. And that is where we're at. That is where we're at. We're at a time where we need to be those models. And we need to ourselves take it to becoming that which we are to become. And what we are to become, not to push it, is what something we talked about before, and I talked about many times, is ultimately this transition is about helping us become masters. And a master is one that finds peace in the situations, observes, and then acts with compassion, surrounds themselves in this lovely, white, loving light, and speaks well of each other. So when I hear things and see things going on in the world like it's been happening, well, there's a reason for it all. There always is. Like COVID, for example. People say, oh my goodness, people always look at COVID as a certain thing, but they don't realize what really happened with COVID. It backfired the way it was supposed to backfire. COVID was set up to be fear, create fear and slow down the growth. But what it actually did is at that same time, we released and opened up more people, which then increased the vibration of the earth. And all you need is less than 1% of the square root of the population of any area to be at a higher vibration for it to impact the whole community. A small percentage. So we opened up, more people got opened right before COVID hit. And when it hit, who did it target? It targeted those that were not going to be here much longer and were ready to reincarnate anyways. And when they reincarnated, what people don't realize is they were coming back now at a much higher vibration already. Because they were coming back in a new expression with a higher vibration, because they were coming into this life while the life in the earth was already at a higher vibration. So they were already coming back. So all that happens is we increase the vibration of the earth even more so. When the COVID was meant to bring us down, it did the exact opposite. It also changed how we think a little bit, changed how we do things, changed some financial things, changed a lot, which when we sit back, we're like, oh, life can be better. It does not have to be the way we are being told it is. And that leads us up to today. Where we are now. Yeah, the people that have been talking and predicting. Let's talk about them. They've been saying 2025 was a year of preparation. Preparation for you, for us, and for all for 2026. Which is the year to step forward in who you are. It's the year to create your goals, a year to actually take those steps you've been wanting to take. Because last year you prepped yourself. This year you take those steps. And we're beginning to see how this is going to play out. I know, this is how I channel, so people know this is the best way, the way we'll be doing it now. Things are changing. The world is changing. When he first heard the predictions of others, he was like, this is craziness. No. But now we're sitting in front of him or around him and saying, yes. Oh my goodness, are they saying yes? Tyranny is falling, as was predicted years ago. The people are becoming stronger as the masses. And those that have been in power are going to start to slowly lose the power. As what prevails is love and peace. Love and peace. But in order to do that, there has to be unexpected changes. And we saw the first of them happen already this year. We go back to the Ukraine and the Russia incidents. That was the first time the world said no to war and yes to peace. What happened this week? What did the media tell you? What is everyone saying? Oh no, there's a conflict. Appearances. Just because one thing happens, it doesn't mean it leads to what you call doom and gloom. In order to institute change, something has to happen. Are you going to change? Is anyone going to change if life is going beautifully, perfectly wonderful? No. Nothing's going to change. If everyone is blinded and everything is going the way it should be, nothing will change. We have to want the change. And it will happen as it's supposed to. And we will see what we may see on the news if you watch the news and hear and all the things about all this and that and this and that. But remember rule number 2. We observe and then we act. It's reminding us, and me in particular, reminding me of the Essenes and their definition of compassion. The Essenes, which where Yeshua was from. For those that know, Jesus himself was an Essene. That is where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. That's where he was from, and the archaeologists have all documented it. This is what scientists says. They agree. He was an Essene. And they were known as the healers of the Mideast, trained by the Eastern philosophy. So he was a healer from a healer region and a healer community. And their definition of compassion is simple. We're going to simplify it tonight now. Everything's connected. Everything. And everything you see, everything you experience is connected to you. It is not by accident or coincidence. It is all synchronized. Everything. So when you see an attack, when you understand attack happening on one group, attack happened by another group. There's two parties in play. You understand everything happens for a reason and everything is connected. If everything is connected, then what you are seeing and experience is happening to you at the same time, but you are now the observer watching it. What do you need to learn from this? And how then will you act with compassion about it? It all comes together. That is compassion. When you understand that what you are seeing, observing, you are both observing one and the other. You are stepping back because you are part of it now as the observer, and you are there, and you understand it's all intertwined, and you are seeing it for a reason. And what is you're taking? What do you need to learn from this? What is the lesson? What do you need to take out of it? And then how do you act? And we tell you act with peace and love, because that is how you're supposed to act, with peace and love. So no matter what happens, if you voted for one person, the other person wins, you still act with peace and love. When you scream to the top of your lungs about, oh, blah, 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 you are not acting in peace and love. And you are then attracting the same energy back at you. But when you act with compassion and empathy and understanding, you are calm and at peace. And those around you will have to react with calm and peace because they know they are not getting the rise out of you, and they will then match you instead of you matching them. So then we go to this with the Essenes, with Jesus, whatever you want to call him. Compassion. You know what's happening. You know what's happening. You understand empathy of both sides. And you are the observer. You are now the third party in this. What do you need to learn? Because it's all interconnected. And how do you act with compassion then in your life from where you're at? And we've talked a lot. We'll let Deanna say something because we're nice right now.
Thank you. You made so many valid and good points. One thing I want to underscore a little bit is that things often need to get to their lower point, right? Things need to crash before they can rebuild. And I want you to remember the phoenix cannot rise without the fire. Now, that doesn't mean that we want bad things to happen. That doesn't mean that we want the tragedies that are happening. People are dying. That is what it is. We don't wish that on anybody, and we don't want that to happen, but we have to understand the natural cycle of things. We have to understand that things have to happen, and things happen in cycles, and things happen in seasons. And when you when you're trying to find a way to move forward with compassion, when you're trying to find a way to not be angry or not be upset, it's important to remember that you just have to carry your light, and you have to keep your light lit. Like Dr. Thomas and the guides have just said, the first thing that you do is make sure that you've got yourself on a healing path for yourself. You need to make sure that your light is lit, because you cannot light somebody else's light from a match that's blown out. So pay attention to that. And it doesn't mean you have to love everything. And it doesn't even mean that you have to forgive. You just have to let go. And you need to remember that we are in such a huge divine undertaking. We are seeing it from the inside. So it is very hard to be objective. And like I said before, it's not wishing for one side to win or another side to win, or wishing for people to people. It's finding the compassion to understand that the cycles are what they are. The natural law is always going to overrule, and natural law is one of cycles: birth, growth, death. Okay. And so find it within yourself to send compassionate healing to a situation. If you can't find it within yourself, to send it to specific players in that situation, and it will work just the same. You are still wired as a human. You are a spiritual being. We all are, but we are still wired as humans. And sometimes it can be very hard to get over that, and to live life on a continuous spiritual path is almost impossible, because if we could, would we really be here? And the answer is no. We're all walking the path. We're all healing ourselves while we heal each other. So find the compassion to send the healing to a situation. We don't want the bad things to happen, but we have to understand that sometimes they need to.
Well, yes, and let me bring up what I just shared and what you kind of talked about last week, or last time we did this. Chris just shared the story about the cruise ship, and the deck had cracks, and the wooden cracks. When the deck fell apart, you saw the golden underneath it. The new deck came up. Same like the butterfly. And I like that story about the butterfly and the chrysalis going into the cocoon, and all the caterpillar coming out, and now comes a butterfly. This is the chrysalis stage. This is the cocoon we are in. We are in it. You can't see it because we're in it. And what's ahead of us is amazing. We had an amazing behind us, but that was old. We are going into the shift of the new. And so it's tough. It is tough. And so when you do feel and you are in those challenges, because Cassie asked us the same thing last week, what do I do when I'm in those challenges? In fact, Chris has kind of mentioned this. In this moment, it's easy to feel like taking a step backwards in growth. Guess what? You just said it there too. We are human. We can take a step backwards. And it's not, don't think of it as a step backwards. Think of it in this way. Sometimes we take too many steps forward. Don't know who is guilty of that. Sometimes we take too many steps forward, and we miss what we forgot. We miss something. And so we need to go take a step backwards. So we might go 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We're still forward. But we're not where we wanted to be or thought we needed to be. But because we might not be ready for that. And it's okay. We need to take it the right steps. Because if we don't take it the right steps, we can't grow. And we can't, the word I'm looking for, we will lose that which we are taking for granted. But if we take the steps the right way, and they're going to give us challenges at times, but understand, anytime we're in that challenge, it's a great point and great time to take the step back, reground, refocus, especially now when you see what's going on the road. Ground and focus. Understand what I said in the very beginning. You want to say this? Okay. Who are you? You are this magnificent being brought here by your choice to do exactly what you're doing. You chose to come here, and many of you on this chose to come here knowing full well we had two paths. The doomsday path and the current path. And you were ready for both. But you are here now. And now is the time to shed all the stuff that was held on to for the other path and get it off of you and out of you. And that is why there's all these type of healings. That is why they have this new healing that goes on, because that is what it's going to do. But that's not what we're talking about. What we are talking about is, how do you get back to yourself? When you're in those challenging times, remember you are this amazing being, chose to be here for this transition. You are a master, just like as many of you know of Jesus. You are the same. We that come after him are more powerful than him. It's his own words. You are the we that came after him. You just don't know it yet. The Christ consciousness is in all of us because it was with God, and God is within all of us. And so, it is simple with this. When you are feeling challenged, understand that behind the corner is something amazing. You just have to just get there first. And the way to get there is to take that step back. Ground yourself. Refocus yourself. Find a peace inside of you. When you have that peace, you can now observe with compassion and not reaction. When you do that, you find more peace and a clearer guidance system to how you want to eventually act. And if you understand that, and then you think about who you are and why you're here, and to know that you are so loved and the love is all around you, that you put out that light. You'll be able to step forward. Maybe a little step at first. We said last time, if you just simply once a day think about all the good things in your life that happened today. It could be simple as an amazing cup of coffee. He would never say that, but you might say that. Or a nice trip to the plant store where you smiled. Or just getting something you've been wanting, like a hug. If you start looking at the little wins in your life, you will feel the love stronger. And then you'll see the bigger wins and the stronger. And next thing you know, you're stepping forward faster and you are farther ahead than you were before. Understand who you are. You chose to be here for these moments that you're in right now. It is challenging as a human, so take that step back anytime you have. And breathe in and sigh and shed all that you can shed at that moment. Find the peace, because the peace is the key. Understand, you cannot see around the corner. But if you take a step back, the path to where that corner is will become more clear and obvious. Too many of us try to rush there. Too many of us cannot even take that step back to calm and peace ourselves, so that we end up falling in the sewer, going down the thing, going that way, this way, and missing the corner. So it's okay to breathe. ground. Find a peace inside yourself, knowing who you are and how amazing you are. And then step back and observe your life, seeing those good things that are there, which will build that love, which will make the guidance system more clear and will direct you where you want to go. It won't be immediate. I know he wants to be on the beach doing talks like this. It's not immediate yet. Baby steps. And it will all be there.
That was beautiful. And so true. You know, we have to walk at our own pace. I was reminded of the game that I'm dating myself, but we used to play a game called Mother May I. And it was always Mother May I take 2 giant steps forward. And the person playing Mother would either say yes or no. And sometimes it was no, take 2 steps backwards and then take 1 step forward. And it's what we're doing. We're moving at the pace that works for us, because too fast or too slow isn't going to cut it. And so you have to give yourself grace, and you have to allow yourself to say, okay, I'm having a moment. I'm having a moment where I am so rooted in my humanity, or I'm feeling the negative emotions or whatever. Let them come through and then just pass, bless them and let them go. And understand that when you keep your eyes on the light, when you keep your eyes on the fact that we are all traveling forward, we are all going somewhere. Sometimes we step back because we need to. When you go to school, right? You read your book. If you don't understand it, you go look it up and read it some more. Now it's all electronic, but there used to be days when you had to go look things up in the encyclopedia, and then you had to go back and you had to look it up again because you missed something. That's okay. This is Earth School. Some people will tell you that this is Earth School. We are learning to come into where we need to be on a spiritual level with every breath that we take, with every thought we think, with everything we do or say. And we try as best as we can to be genuine and to be loving and to be compassionate and to find that understanding. But there are times, like the world is seeing these days, where it's really hard to see that. It's really hard to understand the why. We don't have to. We just have to find it within ourselves to send the compassion or send the healing to wherever we can send it. And that includes our own self, because you can heal yourself. You must heal yourself. They say, physician, treat yourself. Well, it's whether you're a metaphysical physician or you're a doctor, it's the same thing. Give yourself the grace to know that if you're taking a step back, or you're feeling that you are rooted in some form of feeling that you don't want, forgive yourself and then work yourself out of it. You can do that. And like Dr. Thomas and his guides were saying, it's about finding that thing that you appreciate it. I would appreciate a good cup of coffee. He won't, but I will. Or appreciate a hug, or whatever else it is that you find in your day that brings you that beauty, and understand that that beauty is everywhere as long as we see it. And once we see it, our light gets brighter. And that's what we need to do as people, as we walk through whatever is going on and whatever is yet to come, that we can manage to heal ourselves and send compassion. And that is how you can live in that state. That is how you can walk a spiritual path, by living in the compassion and the healing and the understanding that as spiritual as we are, we're still wired human. And it's that way for the reason so that we can learn. Because if we had all the answers, like I said before, we wouldn't be here. We just wouldn't. So give yourself grace as you give yourself compassion, and then spread it out. Like the Ho'oponopono prayer. You're saying it to yourself. You're giving it to yourself. And
so the question
I see that. Between compassion and being run over by someone, that's where the grace for yourself comes in. That's where you allow yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to give myself compassion by stepping away from a situation. I'm going to love myself by walking away. Now, if you're talking in like a personal relationship type of a thing, if you're talking in the world, in that I'm looking for the right words. It's stepping out of the situation on a personal level and allowing the grace that you're giving yourself to flow through you. So go back to the Ho'oponopono prayer. But I get the first two lines mixed up all the time. Please forgive me. I love you. No, see, Thomas, I get it mixed up all the time. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. If you can work those 4 sentences into your daily routine and say it more than once, say it a few times, and realize that you're not praying to some God who is judging you. You're talking to yourself. You're healing your spirit. You're forgiving yourself. You're loving yourself. And once you start getting that cycle going, then it goes out from there. Then it goes out to a place that can send that compassion, can send that love. So if you're feeling that the world has just got you under its boot heel, it's a normal feeling. A lot of people do feel that. Allow yourself to love yourself. Just like you said, you love yourself more. Keep it coming. Keep it flowing. Allow yourself to love yourself. And then that love will overflow. That love will spill out. And it sounds cliche and it sounds kind of silly a little bit to say that, but it is a spiritual truth that allowing yourself to feel the love will allow you to give the love and allow you to spread it. And with love comes compassion, comes healing, comes forgiveness. All those things will start to manifest more. And it again goes back to, I think we were talking about this last time, your perception creates your reality. You'll begin to live in a state of love and compassion. It doesn't mean that the bad things, the big things that we're dealing with are just going to go away. They're going to play their part too. That's how things are set up to be. We need to go through these times. We need to learn how to go through these times to enrich ourselves and to bring ourselves to another level where we can walk as masters, where we can embrace the healing, where we can learn that compassion for ourselves, for everyone, and ultimately realize that we're all the same person. We're all the same energy. And the compassion that we show ourselves is the same compassion that goes to everybody else. I hope that answers. That was a long way of getting there.
And
Yeah.
we need to understand at the same point, what is it that we really want is not always what we think we want. We do not want someone to just run over us.
Right.
That we hold strong to who we are. And the way we hold strong to who we are is by what Deanna's saying. You love yourself. You learn to fly first. You love yourself. And then you act with that compassion. When you do that, it goes back to how we manifest things. You'll manifest what you truly want then. And if someone's fighting, I want this, I want that, you approach it with that compassion, with that peace and that calm. And I'll give the crazy example with myself. My ex used to say things and demand things. And I eventually learned to just have compassion and peace. I just found peace. I didn't care what was said. It didn't matter. I did then what I wanted to do. I acted how I chose to act. Next thing you know, she realized she wasn't able to get a rise out of me anymore. And I knew what I wanted. And eventually she realized she had to do things her way and do things on her own and do things that way. And I just kept with this peace. Next thing you know, oh my goodness, things happened. I can't explain how things happened, but they fell aligned perfectly for me. Oh, and this, and this. And I just kept the peace the whole time. And now nothing bad happened to her. No, everything it's great. But I just kept the peace the whole time within myself. I was there. I was present. I didn't argue. I didn't fight. Like, okay. No, that's what I'm doing. And when you don't give them your power and control, like so many of us do, once you start reacting and you start yelling and fighting, and that's giving power and control. Once you start thinking, oh, one of us has to be right and one has to be wrong, you're giving power and control to the whole situation. Biggest thing is trying to understand and empathize, and they might not at all ever empathize. But you stay at peace and stay in love, and what you truly desire and need will show up in front of you. Might not be tomorrow, but it will.
I think it's important to say it might not look like what you think it will look like either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what we want, what we need are not always the same thing. And
Right.
like what you said, we might want something, but it might look totally different. I mean, Thomas, you've told the story before of the lady who wants this one specific type of man, and somebody else asks her out to go, and she kind of goes on a pity date. But by doing that, she got to meet the man that she was ultimately meant to meet. And you tell the story better. I don't remember the details, but it's the same kind of thing. It comes to us. It does come to us. And we need to keep our eyes open, and we need to remember that if we start trying to define everything into strict definitions, we lose focus. Again, you can't see the forest for the trees kind of thing. And just keep sending out that love and that healing and that compassion to the best that you can. And there are days when you're going to do it great, and there's going to be days when you're going to want to say, no, I don't feel it today. You're human. That's totally normal.
Now let me throw out the disclaimer. We're going to go into a healing soon. We're going to put the word of disclaimer, though. Make sure you're acting with compassion for the right reasons.
Good point.
Yeah, it's the Russian that we mentioned the who's me? You. All right. Deanna actually mentioned this 2 weeks ago. We were doing at the bookstore we go to, and the question was asked, what is a gift? And as we go through this whole conversation, the reply that she gave was a gift is something you give unconditionally, receive unconditionally. And that is the same here. Compassion is a gift that you give unconditionally, and you receive it unconditionally. And the giving and receiving is not necessarily connected. You're just doing it to do it. You're receiving it to receive it. But you're not giving it to receive it, receiving it and then giving it. It's just because it is no strings attached. And we're coming up to 45 minutes. We've been on here, so we are going to do a little meditation and a healing before we go much. I'm going to try something different, though. Let's see if this works. Let's be able to go. I want it to be... There we go. There, you can see the screen. Look at that. Perfect. All right.
Oh, I like that.
So, I will let Deanna begin with a little meditation, and then they'll come in with the healing, and we will be all set for tonight.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Please put your body in a comfortable position. Whatever's comfortable for you is fine. However you feel safe and comfortable. And I want you to put your hand on your heart chakra. Why don't you put your hand over your heart there and feel your heart beating. Feel how that goes on. It doesn't stop. Constant. And then take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, feel the warmth. Feel the energy from the air that you breathe. Feel as it flows your blood. Feel as it nourishes your lungs, your blood, your tissues. all of you. And you can feel your heart chakra now getting warmer as you're conscious of the air, the breath, the love that is contained in everything around you. And breathe in that love again with a nice deep breath. And pay attention to your heart chakra feeling warm and feeling that warmth radiate out as it goes up through your throat, up through your head, down through your stomach, down through your legs. Feel the warmth as it travels through your body, up and down, around. And feel that warmth and know that is love. That is love. And sit in this moment. Sit with that warmth and that love flowing through you, as natural as each breath that you take. Allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to revel in it. This is love. This is what your gift is. This is what you bring. This is what you give yourself unconditionally. And what flows unconditionally from you. And take a moment now to just sit in the silence of it. Be with the love.
Hold this space, a space for this vibration, the love and compassion. Remember, so few need to be holding this space, for the many to be protected. Batakira kipikana na koshtia fumaya rata. Manindukaya rajumbashiti. Noya takia toshuta. It is with love and enthusiastic pride do we serve you in every way we can. We are so blessed to be able to serve you. Let us help you. Let us be your guide. With that, we love you. We thank you. With truth and love and light, we wish you a good night.